Jodie Whittaker was back for a second series as the Doctor, along with her expanded crew, and this series would try really hard to shake things up, like Shaker Fries, but with Time Lords. Let's look at Series 12 of Doctor Who. Series 11 of Doctor Who had successfully introduced a female Doctor and the world didn't end, though the episodes themselves, with one or two exceptions, were rarely close to amazing, like Auntie Beryl's lockdown sourdough. I think she proves it too long. True sourdough rises, and this is mediocre focaccia at best. Season 11 had been Chris Chibnall's first season as showrunner. Series 12 shows Chibnall and company responding to the oodles of criticism of their first series and displays a genuine attempt to rectify the problems. The 2020 series was a massive improvement on Series 11, with some of the best episodes the show had seen in years. That said, there are still a few clunkers, but the clunkers just remind you how good the high points are, like how you can appreciate ice cream that much more if you've ever eaten sawdust. By the end of Series 12, your taste buds will become accustomed to some high-quality gelato, along with the carpenter's floor sweepings.
Oh, but my Benny is missing.
Series 12, not to be mistaken for Season 12, starts off with a two-part story, Spyfall, which seems like Chibnall channeling Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat.
The name's Doctor. The Doctor. We're on the list.
It's big and brash and everything that Season 11 was missing for the most part. Someone is killing spies around the world, including Stephen Fry's MI6's Big Cheese. And it turns out it's aliens.
You're properly unhinged.
No, I'm onto you. And I'm going to stop you.
Sir Lenny Henry guest stars as a tech bro also out to take over the world. And this guy, O, is an ex-British agent living in the outback. Except nope, it's him again.
I did say look for the Spy Master. Or should I say Spy Master?
Sacha Dhawan is a new master, a little less manic than the previous two masters, which is not difficult, but he manages to have a little bit more depth as well. There's a convoluted plot spanning the globe that doesn't always make a lot of sense, but it all goes along at a cracking pace with something else the show's lacked of late: style. The Doctor meets World War II spy Noor Inat Khan and maths and computing pioneer Ada Lovelace, daughter of Lord Byron, who would also appear in a later episode this season.
This is the plan. See?
No.
The Master has brought back his party piece of killing people by shrinking them, and also boasts that he's found Gallifrey and destroyed it. Wow, most people would just leave a bad review on TripAdvisor.
Who are you, Doc? I mean, really?
Spyfall is such a change of pace and style of the previous season, you'd almost be forgiven for thinking that there was a new showrunner behind the scenes. No such luck.
We've spent all this time with her, we don't even know where she's from.
Yeah, not for want of asking, though, eh? I mean, and we will ask when we see her again.
Orphan 55 is... let's be charitable, something you'd find in a broken toilet. No matter how hard you try, you just can't flush this turd, and you're just going to have to eat the call-out fee for a plumber.
Oh, it's perfect, Benny.
A resort turns out to be hiding the secret of a dead Earth in the future, there's a daughter out for revenge, and for some reason, whenever Doctor Who wanted elderly women, they just couldn't find anyone who could act.
If those things have got Benny, we're getting him back.
Oh, shut up. It starts off as a standard, this place hides a scary secret, and there are no refunds with a bullshit restocking fee, but it quickly degenerates into a mess.
Orphan 55, it's Earth, your future.
Also, a preachy mess by the end, like a broken toilet with a wellness pamphlet in it. It's best left forgotten.
Oh, God, blimey. Right me nut. Am I having a stroke or something?
Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror is also not a great episode. It is watchable enough, with a good guest cast, but it's more enamoured with educating the audience about who Tesla was, more than it is about telling its very uninspiring story about aliens doing, I don't know, I can't muster up the courage to care. So far, 2 good episodes, 1 terrible and 1 slightly below average. Fugitive of the Judoon sees the rhino-headed mercenaries return to the show for the first time in years. You think it's going to be a fairly standard story about tour guide Ruth in Gloucester, her shady husband, and some wanker in a cake shop. And then it's let off the chain, with chameleon archers, an old-school TARDIS, and Ruth turning out to be a hidden Time Lord. Correction, not just any Time Lord, but a former Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
You can't be,
Yeah, why that?
because I'm the Doctor.
You have got to be kidding me.
Joe Martin's Doctor has a shady past, obviously working as some form of operative, but for whom? So yeah, this was all set to be a run-of-the-mill episode and turns out to be Jodie Whittaker's first multi-Doctor episode.
Well done. You're only 5 minutes behind someone who just had their memory fully restored. 5 points.
Don't do points, I do points. Points are my thing.
Also, this guy shows up.
How you been, Doctor?
Captain Jack is back, but only as a teaser for a later episode. Ripped off. Honestly, that was the single best episode of the show for me since, I don't know, probably Day of the Doctor. The setup worked, there was a degree of payoff, and a new mystery.
Tell the Doctor, the lone Cyberman, don't give it what it wants.
Please don't suck. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. And then we go back to Dead Ordinary with Praxeus, about a cop and his estranged astronaut husband, a disease, and something about pollution. It's not a particularly successful story for the most part, and it feels worse because after that sweet, sweet ice cream, going back to sawdust is a bitter pill. Does sawdust count as roughage? Can someone find out?
Alien bacteria homing in on microplastics because humans are full of them.
Excuse me, I'm not full of plastic.
Full of summon.
Can You Hear Me is a spookier tale about a being who fingers you. Oh, come on now, what are we, 12? Ryan's got a mate who's got the blues. Yaz flashes back to the cop who inspired her. We go back to Syria in the 14th century because of aliens feeding on dreams.
They feel so much. It must burn them.
I think it does.
Again, it's all over the place, and there's not a lot to recommend it apart from the atmosphere that they managed to create. It's not quite sawdust, but it's not sweet enough to be dessert, so it's like chowing down a cup of stale panko crumbs. Things are looking up again with the haunting of Villa Diodati, in which our fam comes to gawp at Mary Shelley, her missing husband Percy, and Lord Byron, who's a dick.
When he didn't join us, my mind naturally wandered to the idea of some torrid assignation in town.
Doctor Who has done creepy house stories throughout its run, but I found almost all of them in the modern series to be interminably dull. Like when you're stuck on a train that's stopped for a while and you're in a tunnel and there's no signal, it doesn't matter because your phone battery's about to die and the only entertainment is listening to some numbnuts talk about their holiday plans. But for a change, here's a spooky episode where it's done right, with a period setting and famous people, spooky happenings, good acting with atmospheric direction. The main cast does really well when they're given good material, and this is some good shit. Then a lone Cyberman, Ashard, turns up. He's after some Cyberman intelligence called the Cyberium, which is a sort of gooey cyber brain thing that controls things, I think. This leads us directly into the final 2 episodes of the season, which attempt to tie up a lot of loose ends. Ascension of the Cybermen sees the TARDIS crew trying to defeat Ashard and his mates, Metal Mickey, Metal Marty, Metal Matty, and Glenn. They first encounter some of the few human survivors of a cyber war. For reasons, Graham and Yaz end up sailing off with some refugees to look for a portal to safety while the Doctor, Ryan and some kid steal a cyber ship to follow the others.
Who are you calling kid?
There's a giant cyber war carrier left over from the war filled with dormant Cybermen who now look like Playmobil versions of the Invasion Cybermen from 1968. The Doctor finds the portal leading to the ruins of Gallifrey when, not him again, scattered throughout the episode are scenes of a young man in Ireland growing up and becoming a copper. It's mostly well done, there's a lot of action and proper character moments for the crew. Will they stick the landing?
Right, let's have a butcher's. Butcher's hook. Look.
So on Gallifrey, the Master shows the Doctor how the Time Lords came to be through Matrix flashbacks, and then reveals that the child from whom all Time Lords sprang, the Timeless Child, was in fact...
The child is you.
Say what? Showrunners of the modern Who have taken great joy in massively retconning parts of the series' history to fit with the episode that they're writing, and then ignoring the consequences, things that write the show's continuity into a corner, until a new showrunner just ignores all the stuff he doesn't like and retcons everything again. So the Irish cop is some sort of dream about what happened to the Doctor, which makes about as much sense as powdered water. So William Hartnell is no longer the first Doctor, just the oldest Doctor that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor can remember. Okay. And all of the Time Lords sprang from the Doctor. Okay. And then the Master offers the corpses of the dead Time Lords to Ashard to make a new cyber race, and then... oh dear. I think I can see what they were going for, but... oh dear. Ryan and Graham get a little less screen time this season. When Graham does speak, it's all gold.
Dapper dude who dresses for the opera. How did he end up digging a ditch? You can't stop doing that. Splendid. Very convenient. Ryan, not a carsy for love nor money.
When Ryan does speak, he's generally a buffoon or nervous.
Rule 1, no panicking.
I thought rule 1 was don't trust anybody.
Rule 1A then, no panicking while you're not trusting anyone.
Yaz is gradually becoming the Doctor's apprentice, though the best scenes with the companions are when the companions are talking with each other away from the Doctor.
Oh, she likes some mouthy then, huh?
Yeah, one up from Cheesy.
Ooh, okay, he's my favorite.
There's at least a little more dramatic tension as the crew realise how little they know about the Doctor.
How much do you know about her?
A bit. Our paths crossed very briefly once when she was a man.
When she was a what?
But instead find out surprising details from other people they meet who've known the Doctor longer.
We've spent all this time with her and we don't even know where she's from.
So Series 11, while it was devoid of too much ice cream, it kept the ingestion of sawdust to a minimum. Did that final episode just flush all the good work? Well, there's the 2021 New Year special, Revolution of the Daleks. Not Revelation of the Daleks, Revolution of the Daleks. The leftover DIY Dalek from the 2019 episode Resolution, not Resolution of the Daleks, just Resolution, had been used by returning business villain Jack Anderson as a template to create security drones he plans to sell to governments around the world. Except his leading scientist has managed to inadvertently regrow a Dalek, who's then created thousands of new Daleks. The drones have been turned into proper Daleks, so the Doctor's solution is to call in the real Daleks and hope that that doesn't backfire. Revolution of the Daleks is pretty decent and a good showing for everyone, bar Graham, who really doesn't get to do very much at all until the very end.
We were worried about you!
So Ryan and Graham stay home, since they have a parcel coming and you have to sign for it, otherwise they leave it with a neighbour, usually that asshole next door who always accidentally opens your parcels. Anyway, them deciding just to stay home is significant, because the modern series hasn't allowed anyone else to do that.
I think I'm going to stay here.
Only Martha was allowed to make a decision and stay behind, in her case because she was pissed off with the Doctor. Every other companion has some bullshit reason why they're not dead, but they have to be dead to the Doctor just so they can have the Doctor moping in the next episode. Graham and Ryan get to go home, fail at riding bikes, and not be freaked out by Grace's deciding to haunt them, because now that she's a ghost, she's seen just how they load the dishwasher.
You're too clever.
Having met her and then being without her, that's worse. How'd you deal with that?
So all in all, Season 12 and the 2021 New Year special have been a massive improvement on the previous season, and in fact probably better than the last few seasons, but there's still a long way to go. So not always great and not always terrible, but some great and terrible episodes. Jodie Whittaker's performance as the Doctor is the prime reason to keep watching, but for the first time in a long while, the scripts, at least some of the time, have stepped up. It's more Army Reserve than regular Army, but that's better than what we've had for a long time.
Nuclear option that might backfire.
So obviously the 13th season production has been affected by the events of 2020.
This is hard, isn't it?
With the season now down to 8 episodes, and we assume a special, and comedian John Bishop will join as a regular. There's already talk that Jodie Whittaker will leave at the end of the season, unconfirmed at the time of making this video, early 2021. Only time will tell. 'Cause it always does with Doctor Who.
Being with the Doctor, you don't get to choose when it stops.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below, or check out some of our other videos.